Hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Monique and this is Art with Mo. Today I will be doing a paint with me type of video. It is a screen recording because I haven't quite figured out my new setup quite yet. But this sketch here it was done in my sketchbook and then I transferred it over to my iPad. Originally I had tried to paint this with gouache, but I was using the gouache as watercolor, so it didn't pan out very well. So I decided to transfer it to my iPad and just paint it that way, mainly because that's what I'm most comfortable with. But while I was trying to use the gouache as watercolor, it just wasn't working out how I wanted. My colors were too opaque because I didn't add enough water to the gouache, so it just ended up the colors weren't accurate and it ended up kind of muddy and it just didn't look good. I would show you guys a picture of it, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to because it doesn't look good, like I said. And the whole reason that I started to paint it traditionally is because I am a part of Ham Rib's Patreon. She started a Patreon the beginning of February, and one of her tutorials on there is how to paint this woman with watercolor. And another thing, or another reason why I didn't just use watercolor is because I don't have watercolor, and I was debating about getting watercolor, and I had just decided to use my gouache because I've used it before, but I've never used it as watercolor. And with watercolor, I've never used it before. Like, I've used the little kid ones when I was younger, but I've never used artists' watercolor before. So it was in my head, it was like me learning a whole nother medium, which at this stage I'm not quite ready for. But eventually I'll pick up some watercolor and maybe I'll get into it and attempt another portrait, I'm sure, because that is what I enjoy doing. I like drawing people's faces. So I was getting a little off track, but this portrait was originally supposed to be traditional to follow along with Ham Ribs Patreon that she started in February. She did hers really, really well. She knows how to work with gouache and with watercolor. So she did hers with watercolor, of course. If you haven't actually checked out her channel, I will leave a link up above and down below so that you can find her channel. If you haven't heard of her, I'd be a little surprised, especially if you're watching my channel. I would think that you would have heard of her by now, but if you haven't, she is an amazing artist. She works with watercolor, gouache, pens, and she does a bunch of sketches. She has a few tutorials on her YouTube channel actually as well. She teaches you different techniques that you can use with watercolor and with gouache, and then she shows you how you can draw hair in certain styles, or in her style, not certain styles, but you can draw hair in her style. You can draw portraits in her style, and yeah, she's just a really great artist. And if you guys want to check her out, I'll leave a link up above in the information card and then also down below so that she is easy for you to find. And now that I've done a lot of rambling in this video, I wanted to tell you guys what I'm doing actually. So I am painting this with my iPad. I started out with a sketch that I just took a picture of with my phone. I took a picture of my sketchbook and then I just imported it to my iPad. If you'd like to see how I did that, I'll make a short of it so you know how to do it for yourself. So I just put it as my background and then I just began to paint over it like I would any other digital painting. That's how I started this one. The only difference is normally I would have the sketch above what I'm painting, and this time I painted over top of the sketch, which I actually kind of liked better because I was able to build up my form a little bit easier instead of using the sketch as what I was using to build form, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, but I'm working on the hair a little bit, adding in those flat colors, because at this stage, I feel like my portrait is coming together. It's got the form, it has the colors that I want. There's some things that aren't done yet, like the ear and the eyes and her teeth. That's just mainly because I didn't want to do it just yet, because I wanted to do bits of the hair and like the background. You'll see, but I just wanted to do those few things first before I went into detail on her ear and her eyes and her mouth. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video so far. I am going to just let you guys watch as the background is being done, and I'll come back a little bit later. Alright, so I am gonna zoom in a little bit and use the lasso tool to get her shirt. I tried to just freehand it, but I think I was just being a little bit lazy, so I used the lasso tool instead. And with the lasso tool, I am able to just select her shirt, like outline it, and then select it that way, and then I can just color it all in at once without worrying about getting it on her skin or outside the lines. So that's why I use the lasso tool. And so at this point, I'm just filling in all of those empty spaces that I haven't finished before because I was too busy working on her face. And the whole reason I did her face first is because that is the focal point of this portrait, and I really wanted it to look really, really good, so I put all my time and energy into her face. Everything else comes second, because if you think about it, there's an artist. Her name is Allegra. She is on Instagram. Her name is Art Allegra. But anyways, I'll put her link down below so that you guys can find her as well. But like I was saying, so if her face is the focal point, that's the first thing that's going to draw the viewer to view, or that's the first thing the viewer is going to see and pay most attention to. And then they'll like wander their eyes around the rest of the piece. So I got that from her, and I think she got it from another artist, but I don't remember what artist it was. But anyways, so I did the portrait, and then I filled in her shirt and then the leaves. At this point, I don't know why I only did one leaf or one little piece of greenery, but I did. And then I moved on to her teeth a little bit, and right now I don't really like the way that they look, and I'm going to change them just because she kind of looks like Bugs Bunny right now, and I don't like it. Anyways, so I am working on another set of flowers, and I use the Gaussian blur, I believe is how you say it, to make it kind of push back into the background. And that's another reason why I didn't put like a whole bunch of detail into the plants on the left and the far right because I wanted them to be pushed back and I didn't want a whole lot of attention on them. And also, I'm not like the greatest at drawing plants. I mean, if that's the only thing that I'm drawing, then definitely I can do it, no problem. But like I said, the focal point was her face. So that's what I worked on. And then her hair, it just kind of popped up like it was done, but it took some time. I used the hairbrush that is already installed in Procreate. I started with the lightest color, and then I went to the darkest color, and then I added in some highlights here and there, and I didn't go like strand by strand. I just went by how I felt the hair was flowing. So I went through that way, and I think it worked out pretty well. And then I just added some of her stray hairs to really bring the hair together and kind of make it look like it had some life, because at this point it's kind of stiff, especially like the main body of hair. It looks a little stiff, but I'm gonna add some little flyaways and give it some life. And yeah. Alright, so if you've made it this far, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I know I talked a lot in this, so I hope that you enjoyed my commentary because it's been a while since I have actually done a voiceover. I don't remember the last one, but I'm happy that I did this one, and I really enjoyed making this piece of art. If you guys enjoyed it as well, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe for future videos. Definitely comment because I would love to get to know you guys and for you to get to know me a little bit better. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.